Hello and welcome to another installment in our series known as Coffee Break Blogging. This one is number 54, and we are going to be talking in this one about our blog categories and how to actually set them up in the correct way. Now, in order to set all this in the proper context, let's talk about what most people end up doing with their blog categories. What most people end up doing is thinking of it in terms of little digital filing cabinets for their blog posts. So what they'll usually do when they set out with their blog is they will go, all right, well, what do I think that I'm going to be talking about? And then let me go and create a category for every one of those things. Now, here's the thing. Typically, what we think we're going to write about will adjust over time. So inevitably, what's going to happen is that you are going to write that random post that you think is fantastic, and then you go and look at your list of categories, and you're going to be like, well, crap, it doesn't really fit into any one of those things. So what do? You make a new category. Awesome, right? Now, if you do that over and over again, then what happens here is that you end up with a big, long list of categories. And it's not uncommon at all to see blogs that have 15 to 20, sometimes more than 20 different blog categories. And sometimes you'll see people who are assigning blog posts to more than one category simultaneously. Now, here's the thing. That's the filing cabinet approach to categories. And obviously, it's natural. I don't blame you if you're doing that. It is natural to think of your categories in that way, but there is a more strategic way to do it. And I'm actually all about strategy, marketing strategy associated with your blog. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Now, here's the other thing too, is I want you to realize that readers don't really navigate by way of clicking on categories. Now, I'm going to give you a little caveat on that. They will definitely navigate based on clicking on categories if your categories are set up in the right way. But if you're doing what I said earlier, and that is you've got a big list of 15 or 20 of them, and let's say you've got the category widget in your sidebar, and you drag that thing in there, so you've got this list of like 15 or 20 or more category links, and each one's got that parentheses next to it that shows how many posts are in that category. People don't really navigate that way. They just don't. If you're putting that on there just to make your blog look busy, all right, it might accomplish that, but it's not accomplishing anything worthwhile. So with that being said, how will you get people to actually use your categories? Well, it comes down to thinking of your blog in a strategic way. Now, there's, three simple facts that I want to remind you of, and I've got them written down here, so I'm going to simply read them off. These are three simple rules that are true for your blog. The first one is that the primary function of your blog is to communicate the benefits that your prospect is looking for, and then motivate them to take the first step in your marketing funnel. Now, that first step is typically going to be to opt in. So the thing is, your blog, it needs to be all oriented around those core benefits, those core things that your target market is looking to achieve. And then you get them to take that first step to achieve that thing in your marketing funnel, which is going to be an opt-in. Now, number two, this is the second fact about your blog. The web visitor is surfing the internet in a constant state of what's in it for me. Now, they will subscribe to you if you offer them something that they want. In other words, it's about them, not you. That's a very important rule to keep in mind. This is not something where you just sit there and put it out on the internet, and because of the simple fact that you put it there and you think it's good, the world is going to beat down your door. That's not true. Now, the filing cabinet approach to categories is very much about you. You wrote those categories because you're like, well, this is what I'm going to write about, and I'm going to put it into these little headings, and it's very much about you. It needs to be about them. So if they're thinking, what's in it for me, how are you going to communicate what is in it for them and make them click on something? All right, number three, this is the third simple fact about your blog. This is a communication business. And in order for communication, and we're talking real communication to take place, you have to be talking to them on common ground. There needs to be a common reality between what you're talking about and what they're looking for. Now, hopefully that makes sense. When I say communication, I'm not talking about the simple fact of talking at them. If you go and you find some random person on the street and you just simply start yelling in their direction, that's not communication. That's just verbal crap pointing in their direction. For it to be real communication, it needs to be understood and actually fully received on the other end. That means that they need to understand it, they need to read it, and they need to do something about it. That's real communication. Now, in order for that to take place, there needs to be a common reality. You need to meet them on common ground. If you've ever tried to talk to somebody about something that they've got zero interest in, but you do, you know how hard it is to communicate about something where there's no common ground. It just is really difficult to make happen. So for real communication to take place, you need to meet them where they're at. So again, back up to rule number 2. They're thinking, what's in it for me? If you want them to pay attention to what you're saying and make that communication real, you need to be talking about what's in it for them, because that's what they care about. All right, so those are the 3 basic rules. Now let's state how you want to orient your blog categories. Your blog categories should be based around the hot buttons of your market. You want to have a category that's aligned with each of the major benefits that your target market is looking to achieve. So here's what you want to do. You want to look at the people that you're serving, the people that you're looking to attract, and you want to ask yourself, what are these people looking to get? What is the outcome they're looking for? What are they out there on Google looking for? And you want to orient your category specifically around those things. And you don't want to have too many of them either. You want to really narrow this thing down. The fewer, the better, quite frankly. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. This is what the category list looked like at the Blog Marketing Academy, let's say a year ago. They were content creation, conversions, entrepreneurship, marketing, news, social media, technical, and traffic. So that was a list of 8 categories, not too particularly long, but look at what I called them. Conversions, entrepreneurship, marketing, news. These are not benefit-driven categories. If somebody is looking to, let's say you put yourself in the mindset of somebody who's coming to my blog, perhaps yourself, because you're actually listening to this right now. When you're going out there and you're looking for something, you're going to type into Google what you are looking for. Now, if you're looking to handle a certain thing on your blog, like how to fix your header or how to put a logo in a particular place, are you going to go and look for the word technical? No, you're just not going to do it. That's not a benefit-driven category name. Are you going to look for something, if you're looking to make money, are you going to say, marketing? No, it's generic as all get out. Basically, my prior category structure, like most blogs that I see, were basically set up like little digital filing cabinets. Now, what would be a better way to do it? Well, here's how I've redone it, and this is how it is right now, and I'm actually going to probably hone this down a little bit more. But here were 6. I honed it down to 6 categories, and they were get more traffic, build my platform, sell more stuff, increase engagement, be more productive, and build my business. Now, I want you to look at those 6 categories and see how each one is benefit driven. It puts myself in the mindset of the person who's on my blog and is talking about what they're looking for. If they want to get more traffic, are they more likely to click on something that just says traffic, or a category that's front and center that says get more traffic? That's what they want. They want to get more traffic. They want to sell more stuff. Now, I'm thinking at this point I might actually hone it down, because when you look at my target market, these are the big things that my audience really wants. They want to build a great blog. They want to get engagement from their readers. They want to get lots of traffic, and they want to make lots of money. Now, I could orient my entire site around those 4 things. Build a great blog, get engagement from their readers, get lots of traffic, and make lots of money. 4 categories. And I orient everything that I do around those 4 categories. I even had one earlier about be more productive, but quite frankly, the way I'm thinking about it, it's great. I think entrepreneurs need to be productive, but it doesn't really speak to the real unique selling proposition of the Blog Marketing Academy. The Blog Marketing Academy is about helping people monetize their blog in the most effective way. It's not about productivity. So therefore, as important as that topic probably is, I probably shouldn't talk about it a heck of a lot. So those are the 4 things. Now, here's what you need to do. You need to think about your categories. And you need to ask yourself, what are the big benefits that my target market is looking for? And you need to think about how you can orient your categories around those things and how you phrase those categories in such a way where they're going to communicate to your person who arrived on your site and hit them where they're at and communicate them on that common ground. And when you have that really finite list of categories, you can actually display those categories in a prominent location in your top navigation and your sidebar, and people will navigate by them because now they have meaning to them. Now there's not that many of them, and they actually communicate to the person who's on your site. They will navigate by your categories. They will actually use the categories at that point because they mean something. And not only that, if you want to get really ninja about the marketing, you're basically segmenting your leads at that point. So you can put opt-in boxes into each of these categories, and depending on where they opt in, you know what that person is interested in, and you can follow up accordingly with your marketing. That's beyond the scope of this particular episode, but in this episode, I really wanted to talk to you about how to strategically define your blog categories. So hopefully that was of value to you. Now, again, as I told you in the last episode where we talked about what should go in your blog sidebar, there are a lot of different components of the structure of your blog that speak right to how well your blog is going to work from a monetization perspective and from a marketing perspective. And I have created an action plan over at the Blog Marketing Academy that I call the Perfect Blog Blueprint. And literally what this does is walks you through all the different design components of your blog and the different content components of your blog and tells you how to tweak each one of them in order to get the best conversions out of your existing blog. It doesn't go into content and all that stuff. It talks about how to actually set up everything so that you're going to get the most bang for your blogging buck, so to speak. So that's the Perfect Blog Blueprint. I highly encourage you to check it out over at blogmarketingacademy.com/blog blueprint, and that will simply take you right there. And again, it's one of the action plans that I have inside the vault at the Academy, and these are like little mini courses. They're very results driven. There's no fluff in them, and it's just simply there checklist style to show you how to get the exact result you want. And that's how we set up these action plans. They're actually working out really well over at the Academy, and I encourage you to check that out. Again, blogmarketingacademy.com/blog blueprint. With that, again, if you found this valuable, I would love it. I'd be your best friend forever. Just head on over into iTunes, leave an honest review. Even if you don't like it, feel free to let me know that as well. But post an honest review of this podcast over at the Coffee Break blogging listing in the iTunes directory, and I would highly appreciate it. I do monitor those reviews, and I'd be curious to hear what you got to say about this show. All right, with that, I will see you in a few days with episode 55. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the design components of your blog, specifically about how to funnel attention around your site. Okay, see you then.